Hello and welcome to News on Debate. Today we will review what was a debate by Charlie Kirk. It was in Tennessee, if I'm correct. And let's watch it and we will comment on it.
America's small businesses rely on TikTok
We
to
will
succeed.
pass that, we don't care.
Move. And our perspective as conservatives is as follows.
Do you believe that the invasion of the sovereign?
You guys know how it works. You disagree, you can go to the line. We'll have a great conversation here. And go Vols, everybody. Go Vols, right? All right. Yes, sir. Welcome.
All right. So, in a video before, you've stated, why should we hate Russia? Do you believe that the invasion of the sovereign state of Ukraine is not enough to at least view them with anger and want to avoid a policy of appeasement through support of Ukraine?
First of all, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
It's kind of nervous
yeah,
to be
what
here.
Russia did was wrong, without a doubt.
Yeah. So, do you not believe that we should continue monetary support to Ukraine?
No, I mean, a lot of countries do things wrong. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean we should be involved, right? I mean, Syria right now is killing a bunch of Christians. It's getting almost no press attention. There's a civil war right now in Africa that's getting almost no press attention. Not every conflict warrants American involvement. And right now, President Trump is trying to broker a peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine, which is the right move. And our perspective as conservatives is as follows. The amount of money we spent on Ukraine is about $300 billion so far. And during Biden, we didn't spend any money on our own southern border while we were being invaded on a daily basis. President Trump is instead saying American borders matter a lot more than the borders of Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, that's an important point. All the taxpayer money should be used for America, not for other countries like that. Russia, Ukraine, no matter. The money should go to the American.
So I definitely agree that the President of the United States should focus on America first, but I just feel that, and I agree that we should, honestly, I agree that Europe needs to up their spending for the defense of Ukraine because it's right on their border, but I think that no matter where it is in the world, supporting somebody who I would believe is doing the morally right thing is the right thing to do.
Okay, so that's a fair position. I guess the question is, at what point would you consider to be a success? Because right now Russia has more territory than it otherwise would have if we would have had a ceasefire a couple weeks in. When is it enough money to spend? We're at $300 billion. I mean, we're not willing to send U.S. troops, right? I mean, that would probably be a fair line.
Yeah, 100%.
So what would success look like?
That is a really hard question. I guess just the thing that I think of first is there's like that fear of, I think that a peace treaty would go in the favor of Russia. And while I don't think, like, if we continue the support, the war will continue, and that's more lives being lost. I just think that it's a hard middle ground to find. And I feel like Trump, especially with the meeting with Zelensky, just to the world shows more of a support to Russia than previous administrations.
So let me tell you how we view it. We thought Zelensky was completely out of line. By the way, do you like my Zelensky outfit, everybody? What do you think? I meant no disrespect to the University of Tennessee, but I thought I'd do my best Zelensky outfit. I'm a little taller, though, don't you think? I'm a little taller than Zelensky. I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like Charlie, but yeah, no need to mock Zelensky like that. Yeah, makes no sense for me.
First and foremost, I won't nitpick too much, but I will say, if you do go into the Oval Office, you should wear a suit and tie. That's my own personal perspective. I understand his country's at war. That's just a little bit of a nitpicking, I'll be honest. I think that if you go into...
If you understand that they are at war, just not mention it. That's fine. He's not wearing a suit. It's not a problem. They can discuss. Even he's not wearing a suit. No need to just pick them like that.
The sacred, and I've had the honor to go in the Oval Office a couple times. I think you should dress up in a suit and tie. I think it's just a basic common courtesy. But that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is that Zelensky in that meeting, we believe, and I encourage you to watch all 40 minutes. You have, good. It started pretty tepid and then it heated up. And outside of Vice President Vance's back and forth on did you say thank you, there was this kind of insistence on Zelensky saying, no, we really don't want peace. We really don't, like, the idea of peace was almost a non-negotiable.
I mean, I think he views it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine, please.
I feel like he views it as a surrender, and I think that's a fair position for him to take.
It's not only that. It's just that he wants to get back the territory that are occupied by Russia. He don't want to let them to give up on that. It's just that. Trump, he wants to do the peace no matter what. Zelensky not. He wants the peace, but he wants to get back his territories. That's it.
Yeah, well, so he has a choice. So, and America then has a choice. So Zelensky can keep on fighting. Here's some facts. The average age of a Ukrainian military member is 43 years old. They have basically destroyed the young men of their country. There's hundreds of thousands of young men that have died, millions that have fled their nation. The average age is 43. So they're doing conscripts of people in their late 40s and early 50s to go to the front lines. It's a meat grinder. So he can keep that going, but for what? To win back some land that you may or may not win. Then it's America's perspective. We come at the perspective that, number one, blessed are the peacemakers. Number two, what is good for our own country? And the Russian-Ukrainian war has been bad for us at every turn. We're losing the US dollar as the world reserve currency status. It is getting us further and further away from having a back channel to Russia. It's actually put Russia and China closer together. And finally...
Yes, but it's why, at the first place, USA should not be involved in that. It's Europe and Russia.
The amount of money spent. You guys in this audience, you are going to inherit a nation that is $35 trillion in debt, where we are sending money overseas and not securing over our own citizens. Peace would then hopefully limit that from some permanency. And I'll just say one final thing,
yes,
and we can
let's focus
disagree on
USA.
this. It's easy to say it's a surrender, but it would be a victory for the United States to say that we're no longer sleepwalking closer and closer to a thermonuclear war with Russia. Because Russia is a nuclear armed power, and under Joe Biden, not under Trump, we had American-made missiles that were being launched into the interior of Russia. Imagine right now, everybody, if Russia was launching missiles into the interior of the United States. You opened up your question with a very fair, really good faith question. You said, why should we view Russia as an enemy? Let me give you more context to that. And I think this is where DC gets things totally wrong. While I don't like Russia, I don't like Putin, it's not a free society, I have no plans to ever move there or compliment them. I do think it's kind of weird, the amount of money and attention that Russia gets when almost nobody in this audience has a friend that you've lost to the Russian government, but you do have a friend or a family member that has died because of the cartels and the Chinese Communist Party, with the fentanyl coming into our communities. And
yes.
So a nation has to choose which enemies are you going to focus on, because we have a lot of them. Is it North Korea? Is it Iran? Is it Russia? Is it China? I think the Mexican drug cartels have done a lot more damage to the people of Tennessee alongside the Chinese Communist Party than the Russian Federation ever will. So therefore, end the war and focus on our true enemies, the Mexican drug cartels and the Chinese Party. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, just a reminder, if you guys disagree, you guys can work your way down. Yes, we have a disagreement and a poster and a visual here.
Oh, yeah, here's my visual. Hold on one second. And I have a petition. Raise your hand if you're progressive. No? We have one.
I love this school. This is a
my
great school.
goodness.
I love this place. You don't have a lot of allies here.
It's going to be a tough
What is a
crowd.
board?
Well,
What is the reason of the board?
my name is Davin Damien. I am non-binary. I am here with the Alliance.
Hold on one sec. Can I interrupt you?
Why emotion
Guys,
is that?
hold on one sec. So we outnumber, what's your name again? I'm sorry.
Davin Damien.
Davin. We outnumber Davin. That's unusual on a college campus. However, let's do something that liberals never do to us. Let's give him, I think, courtesy. Courtesy that we don't give them. How about that? Okay. So is everyone cool with that? All right. So let's not heckle. Let's not interrupt. Let's be the ambassadors for freedom of speech. Cool. Okay. Please continue.
I must say thank you. Thank you for that, Charlie. So I'm here with the Alliance of Male Feminists, defending women's bodies. My main question is, why are you so obsessed with legislating women's bodies? It seems like you've made it your life mission to remove the choice of the woman, and I just want to know why that is.
Okay, so your advocacy is male feminists for women's bodies,
Yeah,
right?
her body,
so,
her choice.
Got it. So maybe we can come to some common ground then, before we talk about abortion.
Okay, I pause here. It's one of the biggest, greatest quality of Charlie's debates is to try to find a common ground with his opponent to avoid a clash. First, he wants to have some points of agreement to keep the opponent open to discussion, and also to make him his defense. It's a really, really good skill for debater to have and to use during a debate. And it's a very good example here, what he's trying to do.
Would you then agree with our position as conservatives that biological women should not have to share locker rooms with biological men? Because your position is all about her body, her choice.
I think for the sake of argument, I'll say yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
So let me again give you a further example.
Okay.
So therefore, you would agree that in sports settings, especially youth sports, but all sports, Tennessee's own Riley Gaines, for example, when she went to go compete at University of Pennsylvania and had to share a locker room with a biological man, that was wrong because her as a female should be able to have a private space without men coming in there, right?
Frankly, I'm an old school feminist, and so when I think of all this trans stuff, I think it's kind of wrecked us a little bit, and so I don't think you'll trap me with that. I think
I'm not
with you on
trapping.
that.
And by the way, I wish we had more people like yourself.
It's also here, I pause. It's very often I see that the opponent try to put Charlie in a position that he tried to trick him, make him becoming evil or whatever. But it's not the case. Just Charlie is trying to make the discussion open and fair.
That we were willing to speak out, so you deserve credit for that.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Okay.
Now, so we did find common ground on that. So now I want to actually approach the issue that you came here. So you're accusing me of wanting to
Legislate women's bodies.
Okay, so do you mean legislate control over women?
Yeah.
Specifically with abortion?
Taking away her right to choose.
Got
yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah.
So I'm sure if I ask this question, the answer will be no. But you would say, does a mother have the right to kill her child?
Not kill, but what I'm trying to raise awareness right now is that we need to abolish child neglect laws because that forces women to use their bodies even with babies. Now, I'm not saying they should be allowed to kill babies, but I'm saying they should be allowed to let nature just take its course. For example, I'm just saying, we are saying that it's survival of the fittest, and what I'm saying is I think that the MAGA fascists, I think you all are winning because you at least are trying to be consistent on the life issue. But what I'm saying is we need to be as progressive consistent. That's why I've got this petition here to get people to see that we must abolish child neglect laws if we're going to be consistent that it really is her body and her choice.
So I think you're doing a very good job exposing the hypocrisy of left. I could tell that this is a shtick, and I will say it's very effective, and I tend to agree with where you're trying to go. What he, they, them, whatever, is saying is the following, which is to abolish child neglect laws is the furthest extrapolation of a pro-abortion view. Which
that's consistent.
Of course, no, and I don't know what you actually believe, but your satire can sometimes lead you towards truth, and you should show show the poster. What he's saying, in a way, is that in order for the left, he doesn't actually believe this. This is a shtick. Yeah,
okay,
got it.
if you say
Fine.
so.
Yeah, but what he's doing is trying to prove a point that if you are pro-choice, then therefore you should also get rid of child neglect laws. because it means you actually don't care for the baby, whether it be in the womb or outside of the womb.
We are
And so,
forcing women to use their bodies.
sure, got it. So, very good. Thank you, and best of luck with your petition.
Okay, this one was not really
Next question.
relevant.
Disagreements welcome, and that was quite a dialogue. Okay.
But the guy was not listening, really. He was just doing his propaganda.
All right, everyone,
But he was not
give it a minute.
listening what Charlie was saying. Let's see what is going on
As much as I
here.
agree with being a progressive liberal, a lot of liberals do not associate with that person. And that sounds rude, but I just want to say that that is not the stance of a lot of liberals. However, my statement / question is, would you agree / disagree that the Make America movement, Make America Great movement, again, you know, MAGA movement, is a cult?
What? A cult? Here it's also one thing that I have very often see with leftists is that they always try to make their opponent evil, like to dehumanize them, to make them like really demons that are trying to make evil. It's really strange. It's not the way it should be. It's really a fascism behavior. It's what the Nazis did with the Jews. They dehumanize them. Here, they're trying to do the same. I'm curious what Charlie will say.
No. Why don't you explain to me and the audience what is a cult?
Of course. Okay. Do you know any characteristics of a cult?
Sure. I mean, you could take the Jonestown death cult, of which there was a charismatic leader that constantly lied people, and they took him out of everyday normal life and leads them towards ostracization and cutting off of family ties. Am I getting closer
Yeah,
to
I mean,
describing
I will
the
read
Democrat
you-
Party?
According to the... No. What I'm talking about is MAGA. According to the Bethune Cook University website, characteristics of a cult include isolating members and criticizing them for leaving. Would you say that members of the MAGA movement will criticize others for leaving?
Well, yeah. I mean, but you guys criticize players that transfer out of the University of Tennessee football team. That's not a cult.
Okay, what about the absolute authoritarianism without meaningful accountability?
Okay, so what you're trying to say is that, like, what the leader says, the leader gets, basically?
Yes, Trump.
We have lots of disagreements in the MAGA movement. In fact, I'm more pro-life than the president is.
Yeah, this is a good point too. It's not one unified movement. Everybody have their ideas. They can disagree on some points. Me, for example, I disagree with Charlie Kirk on abortion. I don't have the same opinion on it. But on some other point, I agree on some. About religion also, I disagree with him. But the point is, there are no unified, homogeneous movement. It's just that they are trying to find some common ground to make the country better. And the leftist doesn't understand that. They think that they are just following them like sheep is following the shepherd. You know, it's very not what she's saying or what she's thinking.
In fact, a lot of people in this audience would have differing views maybe on where the president is at on Israel or Gaza or Ukraine or Russia. In fact, some people in this audience might say the president is not as pro-Second Amendment as they would like. I would
Yeah, a good example is recently Marjorie Taylor Greene um, raised her voice on some points, like the child in Gaza, or about Israel, or about the healthcare insurance. A different voice than Donald Trump, for example. And it's a good point, but all what they want, they are trying to work for America. And at the end, they are part of the same conservative group, but they have some disagreement on some points. And they are not fighting each other like they are doing with the leftists.
Argue that we actually have far more intellectual diversity in the MAGA movement than your traditional Democrat Party.
I see where you're going with this and stating that not every person who, I guess, supports Trump is fully supportive of him, but I'm saying the MAGA movement who will agree with him no matter what.
No.
Well, I actually think that there's more depth and complexity to the MAGA movement than you would imagine. A lot of people here who would consider themselves to be part of the MAGA movement, they won't blindly sign on to everything that Trump does. However,
Definitely
they
no.
will say that they agree with him 8 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times. And so I would say, though, you know what was a cult? What was a cult is what we lived during COVID. During COVID, and allow me to build out the argument that no matter what the CDC or Anthony Fauci would say, you would have the little talking heads on television parrot it back, no matter how insane it was. We must close the schools, 6 feet to slow the spread, wear a mask while showering. Okay, I made that one up. But, I mean, the point being is that far more had characterizations of what a cult would be than the traditional Make America Great Again movement.
Okay, but you could also argue
Well
the side
said.
that Fox News does the exact same thing, where they just regurgitate everything that the right media is saying, and people on the right will believe anything Fox News says. And I'm not defending CNN. I'm not saying the Democratic Party is perfect. I'm just saying that there is a movement of conservative people who support Trump who will do it no matter what.
Maybe there is some people that will follow him no matter what. That's probably true. But it's not everybody, and I'm pretty sure that it's not the majority of them. I know a lot of them that are not blindly following what he's saying and doing.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get to where you have come to this opinion. I'm trying to understand it because I see something completely different.
I do not use CNN as my news source, by the way, just so you know.
Good for you. Apparently you haven't been in an airport recently because the only people that watch CNN is if you're walking through an airport. So I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, and by your own definition of a cult.
It's not my own. It's a legitimate
fine. So
educational
let me ask you a
definition.
question. A cult would probably convince people to do something that would be against their humanity. Would you agree?
Yes.
A cult would probably get people to do something that they know is wrong, even though.
Okay, here you can see that Charlie is trying to make her doing a step toward him by clearly defining the words and trying to continue to keep a common ground with her.
They think they should do something as right.
Maybe, because some of these people are brainwashed into believing certain things that
For
they
sure.
don't actually agree
No,
with because
okay.
they don't have the proper information
Got
on
it.
it.
So, for example, would you agree that when the Democrats sat during the State of the Union address to not apply?
Ooh, okay, I see where he's going. He's good. He's good. I like him. He's very, very good for that. He's trying to make her open her eyes about what happened in the Democrat Party. Very interesting.
A kid with brain cancer that is cult-like behavior. because their leader told
Right.
them not to do it. I mean,
Well, who told them not to?
exactly. I mean, their leadership told
So
them.
who's their leader? If they're
Well,
a cult,
Chuck
then who's their
Schumer
leader?
or Hakeem.
And here it's where it's difficult for her to keep face, and because she's in front of the truth that on Democrat Party, it's they are doing exactly what she was thinking the Republicans were doing, and I think it's hard for her to open her eyes on that.
Jeffries, they had strict orders: do not stand and applaud for anything Trump does. They told us this.
Yes.
And so then Trump says, hey, can we just have a moment of non-political? Here's DJ Daniel. He's dying of brain cancer. He's now a ceremonial member of the Secret Service. And every Democrat sat with their arms crossed, not even being able to show the humanity. I mean, that's a cult.
Yeah, the cognitive dissonance isn't going in her head, and I think she will have difficulties to admit it and to agree with Charlie on that, because it's hard. I think if I was in her shoes, it will be really, really hard to accept that, to see the truth.
Okay.
You see your face? It's very, very difficult. I have a lot of empathy for her because I know how it's difficult it can be.
To respond to that, that is simply one example, and I'm sure you can pull a bunch other out.
Yes, he can pull a bunch other, but the fact is, it is what it is, and you need to face it.
And I'm not saying that what the Democratic Party did that night was correct. I believe that what they were doing was standing against Trump's hypocrisy and his narcissism and his way of, like...
Yes, he is narcissist. I definitely agree. But it's not the point. We don't care about that.
making himself look good by using other people who are marginalized to make himself look good.
So here's my suggestion, and take it for whatever it's worth. Calling the opposition political movement a cult when the other one that you happen to be more allied with is obviously much more of a cult is not helpful.
Okay, then tell me. Tell me how it's a cult. Tell me how the Democratic Party is a cult compared to MAGA.
I'll give you another I mean, you asked me for more examples.
Yes.
The day of the State of the Union address, all 22 Democrat senators repeated the very same video on social media, mindlessly like robots.
What video?
The video where they said, something is effing out of control and this is not right. You guys all saw that video. Repeating the same incantation with not even like an iota of creativity or ingenuity, like just repeating it like as if they've been hypnotized into a... Got it.
I have not seen that video.
Well, you should. But again, I'm not even the one that is up here throwing around the cult word towards the Democrat Party. I just think it's a supremely rich act.
Here, if you are looking closely at her face, you can see that at some point she starts to understand what Charlie is saying. She is listening. It's why here it's a very interesting debate, because she's not close to what Charlie is saying, and she's really open-minded. She's honest, and I don't know what she's thinking right now, months after the debate, but I hope that she's continuing to improve her critical thinking and work on that and have a better view of what is Republicans and Democrats. And here it's very, very interesting.
Accusation to say the MAGA movement is part of a cult when evidently, based on the own standard that you put forward, the Democrat Party embodies those characteristics far more than Republicans or conservatives ever have or ever will.
So one of the main aspects of a cult is a leader, a charismatic leader that people will follow blindly no matter what. The leader of the MAGA movement is Trump. Who are you stating the leader of the Democratic Party is that people will follow blindly without questioning no matter what?
Well, I mean, there's...
The KKK was a cult. There was no leader. You don't really need a leader for a cult.
I'm hearing tons of different examples, so that can just tell you there's not one.
Okay, again, so it could be Obama, it could be Rachel Maddow. I mean, the point being is that I don't even think it's the strongest argument to call either party a cult. That's not why I'm up here.
Yes, correct.
I'm simply just playing the same frequency that you're coming at, that based on the definition, the Democrat Party is far more mindless and far more of a Borg, to use a...
Mindless is a good word. It is what it is. They are not building their ideology. I mean, they are not building their point of view. Yes, their ideology. They are just emotional. They are all in emotional. They are not building their point of view, criticizing arguments, debating between them. They are not just in emotion, react in the reaction.
Star Trek analogy than the Republican Party or the conservative movement. And so, but here's something I do want to ask, though. If you are positing that it is a cult, do you think this entire audience is part of a cult and they don't realize it?
I think that my statement was the Make America Great Again movement is a cult. I'm not saying the conservative party is. I'm saying the far-right MAGA movement is a cult. I will say that I believe in my heart that there are certain people in this group who could be characterized as someone who is in a cult.
Yes, maybe. Like you said, some of them. Not all.
Okay. I mean, I think that's insane. And I'm not here to give Democrats advice.
And even if it's true, if some people were following blindly, people like Charlie that can criticize, debate, can make these people open their eyes, try to find some disagreement, and try to not follow blindly. But if nobody is doing it, it's a problem.
But it's so
and it's why I have lots of regrets about Charlie's passing away. Because right now there is nobody. No, there is not nobody. There is some people that are doing it, but there is no leader like Charlie that is doing this at this level.
destructive to our politics to call people that just won a national electoral landslide and the national popular vote as part of a cult. Maybe instead it should be, maybe they have better ideas than we do.
Maybe they just... Maybe they had billions of dollars to put into their campaign funding that got them the awareness.
Hold on.
Lack of knowledge. Here, I'm pretty sure she's repeating what she have listened or read in the news. And I don't know what Charlie will say, but I'm pretty sure what she's saying is not correct.
I mean, you seem well-intentioned. So who spent more money in this election, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump?
Okay, I see. I think I have read that in the news that Kamala Harris gathered more money than Donald Trump.
It's not even close. It's 3-to-1 more money was spent by Kamala and her affiliated super PACs than Donald Trump.
Do you have the numbers?
Yeah, you can go to opensecrets.org. You can look at all the outside groups, the hard money that Kamala raised, the super PACs that they raised. Democrats, by the way, do
I think she feel a bit dumb here, because she, at this point, she understood that she said something wrong. I have a lot of compassion for her, really, because I think she's a good person.
you know that 8 out of 10 of the wealthiest counties in America vote Democrat? Do you know the wealthier you are in America,
It is why also I heard a lot of criticism on Charlie Kirk trying to debate young people in universities, but it's maybe the best way to make them improve their ideas, improve their debate skills, to open their mind. I think it's maybe the best thing to do, to go on campus and discuss with the young generations.
the more likely you are to be a member of the Democrat Party. That the more, if you work with your hands and you don't graduate from college, that you're less likely to be a Democrat. Now, one of your, fellow cult members just screamed at me from the audience saying, well, that's because, they're so educated. Do never conflate everybody, credentials with an education. Just because you have a lot of degrees does not mean you have the most important thing, wisdom. Wisdom is different than a credential. Now, I could tell that you're coming at this
Critical
from a good
thinking.
perspectives. My last homework assignment for you is this. I want you to go find 5 people with a MAGA hat once this event is over and talk to them. And then I want you to say what you said to me. I want you to first accuse them of being in a cult, because if you can say it to me,
I'm not sure it's a good idea, that, because I'm pretty sure the people she will come to them to discuss about it, they are not kind like Charlie, I'm pretty sure.
can say it to them.
Sure.
And then I want you to have a good faith conversation, because we are not going to bring this
Because I think a lot of them are like her, in fact. They are following the MAGA movement without knowledge, I'm pretty sure. And her, she's following the Democrat Party without knowledge. For them, it is the same, I'm pretty sure.
country together, of which is actually our goal here as part of the MAGA movement, which is why we have an open mic. If you go around accusing people as if we're following Charlie Manson.
You just did the same thing to me.
Well, in all fairness, I said if this is the standard of our dialogue right now, the Democrat Party is far more of a cult than the Republican Party. That is not a contention that I throw around lightly, but it is, you satisfy the requirements way more than the MAGA movement does.
You haven't asked me enough questions to know that.
Well,
Enough question
that has nothing to do with what I've said.
to
Yes, it
contradict.
does.
I mean,
You haven't asked me if I would blindly follow some
Well, I'm not-
leader of the Democratic Party, which is no, I would only follow if I do the in-depth research of an unbiased source to get my
Ooh la la. Okay. Unbiased resources. It is really hard to have unbiased resources. Maybe she's thinking that she's getting the information from unbiased source, but I'm pretty sure it's not. The question about the money is a good example. But I'm pretty sure she is honest about it.
information, and then I base my opinion
so-
off of that.
fair enough. Can you give me an example of an unbiased source?
I mean, like Mayo Clinic or just like any EDU source of college information.
From what I know, Charlie dislike universities. He think it's a scam, if I'm correct.
I'll end this. If that's your idea of a biased source,
Off the top of my head.
Even me, I don't really agree with him. The fact, for me, it's a scam in the way that it's too much expensive for what they're giving you. But Yeah, it's still useful. For me, universities are useful.
I would encourage you to dig deeper and be more of a free thinker.
And I will, and I am a free thinker. And I grew up in a conservative household. And once I left my parents and their beliefs, and I moved to college in a very conservative state, I actually become more progressive.
Okay, and so how is
Okay, here she starts to be emotional. It's good in a way that we know she's a human being, she has feeling, but for the debate, it moves the debate on another uncertainty. When you are going emotional, you are going away from the facts.
your relationship with your parents?
I mean, it's fine. We don't agree on most things, but
Wait, so they didn't kick you out for having a different opinion? They're terrible cult members.
Good point. He's really quick thinker on that. He's able to turns out things that was said by the young girl and to rebound on it. It's really enjoyable to watch it. And it's good. It's pretty good.
Wait, they still love you for who you are, and do they pay your tuition?
nope.
Okay,
I
well,
pay my own tuition. I pay everything on my own.
well, good. Then they're even better parents. They make you pay for your own stuff. The point, so you can't even point to your own family as being part of a cult. They still love you. They still talk to you.
I would go as far to say, and if they're watching this, I do believe that my parents are in a cult. But
Do you understand how damaging that is? To go around to say the people who raised you and nurtured you
She's young. She's making some mistakes, but she will learn about it.
and brought you into the world, that you're a cult because some professor told me the definition of a
No,
cult in an
no,
anthropology
no.
course.
nope, you're wrong.
All right. Thank
It
you
was
for
nice to talk.
Yeah, when you are debating, don't reject like that by saying no, no. On that, yeah, she need to be more open.
To you though.
Thank you for your time.
But it was a really good discussion between the two. I'm pretty sure she will think about it later, and hope it will open her eyes on some points. Okay, we will stop here. It was really interesting. Analyzing Charlie Kirk debates is really good to improve the discussion, improve the ideas, try to find some points to find weakness on the strength, and I love to do that. And I am following other people that are doing the same. For example, there is the Perseverance. I like him. He's commenting also videos. It's really, really interesting. I encourage you to follow them. The Perseverance and the LFR Jojo. I like him also a lot. His comments are really interesting. He seems to be a very, very smart guy. Yeah, I encourage you to follow. On that point, thank you for following us, and see you for the next news and debate.